Welcome to Insight Training's overview of the FLIR KXX series cameras. We hope these short educational videos are beneficial to you. We're going to cover the application modes of the K55 and K65 cameras. So before you go here with the camera and start pushing buttons, we want you to understand what these buttons mean, what the colors mean, what all the attributes mean. And we've made these videos short and digestible so you can use them. What you're seeing here is a short overview of the camera, basically the entire instruction manual in one slide. It gives you the key attributes and tells you everything about the K53, the K55, and the K65. If you want to get down and dirty with it, the K65 is the NFPA approved one. It's intrinsically safe. The other models are not. So when we look at the actual display, though, we've got to be able to interpret the map. This is your key symbols or legend, if you will. You need to know what all these icons mean before you go into a fire. We've got short videos for you to understand these on our YouTube channel, but this is something that's very important. Before you start playing with buttons, you need to know what these mean. So every fire service camera today has something called TI Basic. It's a required startup color palette. That's what you're seeing here, from 0 to 1200 degrees, basically black, gray, white, yellow, orange, red, black being the coldest, red being the hottest, and we've made these cheat sheets to help break that down for you. In the FLIR KXX series cameras, you will only see color in low sensitivity beginning at 302 degrees after 2% of everything in front of you is at 302 degrees. The camera will shutter, freeze for a second, a green triangle in the upper left-hand corner will show up, and then you will begin to see colorization. So we've got a couple of videos here to demonstrate that for you, something as simple as playing with the gas burners at home. You see my hand, you see the camera engage, the triangle show up, we move away, and then all of a sudden that disappears. When we look back at the stove, we see it's hot, but it's not on, but there's still enough heat for it to change. Notice how my hand changes as far as what it looks like through the camera. As I look at my hand here with the heat in the background, and then I move it away from the heat source. My hand's still the same temperature despite some circulation problems in my fingers. You're seeing something known as thermal inversion. So we're able to see that my hand's still the same temperature, but the camera's having trouble focusing on it because of the background temperature. It has to adjust to that, just like your eyes adjust when you look at a bright light or you walk into a dark room. Notice the green triangle showing up again, indicating low sensitivity. I must warn you that all cameras will shutter or lag briefly when they switch, and if you scan too fast, you're liable to miss the heat source, a victim, or something that really very important that could cost you. So scan slow, work fast. Notice as we look from the floor up at this crib fire, the camera shutters briefly, the triangle engages, then we see colorization. Must emphasize that you do not read the spot temperature when you're looking at a fire. If you notice the spot temperature is quite low because that's a small measurement of a very big picture. Notice again, once we look over towards the burn barrel, we'll see the camera shutter. It engages. There's our colorization on the burn barrel. We flip it to get a wider field of view. We teach that in our field of view portion. Here's your overview of the actual camera application modes. You have TI Basic, Grayscale, Fire Mode, Search and Rescue Mode, which is displayed here, and Heat Detection Mode. Every camera is required to start up in TI Basic mode from 2008 onward. If you're ever in a mode you shouldn't be, just tap the green button. It'll take you back to TI Basic. What you need to understand, though, is these other application modes may or may not be the best use for you in a fire without proper training. I only recommend Grayscale for those who have trouble with colorization or colorblind firefighters, and for other issues you may have with colors in general. Fire mode actually starts colorization at 500 degrees. It's more similar to the Bullard color palette. And search and rescue mode, however, is not designed for searching inside of a fire. It's a single gain mode, meaning it will max out at 302 degrees. It will not switch to low sensitivity. There will be no green triangle indicator in the upper left-hand corner. You will see red saturation, as you see in this picture from a helmet cam video from a fire department that used it in Fire Attack. However, it has some defined benefits. When we look as we scroll through these different application modes playing here with the burner, we go from TI Basic to Grayscale, which we have no colorization. We go to Fire Mode, where it only shows color beginning at 500. You'll see a little bit of color engage around the metal reinforcements of my gas burners. And then we'll switch over to Search Mode. Watch what happens. We go from 0 to 1200 degrees to 0 to 300 degrees dynamic range, but look at the difference in colorization. This is very beneficial when you're trying to find lower heat sources that are troublesome and you're having trouble identifying different levels of grayscale. When you look at heat detection mode, however, it only colorizes the hottest 20% of the image, and there's no temperature range for it. So be cautious using that mode. So once again, we'll do it again so you can see it. We're in TI Basic, then we go to grayscale. We have no color. We go to fire mode. We end up showing a little bit of color, which is that's not my favorite one. I prefer early colorization so I can have an early indicator of the problem. And then we're going to switch over to search and rescue mode. Watch what happens. We get a dramatic difference in the picture, but beware of saturation because this mode will not go above 300 degrees, which can cost you if you're using this in FireTAC because you can lose a lot of discernible detail. We switch over to heat detection mode. We get a lot of red, but no other color because all it colorizes is the hottest 20% of the image. We're going to do the same thing again for you here. And you'll watch as we look at the burners and go through the modes. I did this because I want you to have an easy way to toggle through and show them. I would prefer you use something like a Max Firebox or Dollhouse Burn to show your firefighters these attributes. You can use any of our videos to help you with these things, or you can call us and send us a request through our channels and we can help make these for you so you can better understand these modes. We want you to use them correctly on and off the fire ground and not figure it out while you're on the fire ground. That's not what we want you to do. I must emphasize though, the heat detection mode is not color temperature correlative. It's only showing the hottest 20% of the image. That could be 80 degrees, that could be 800 degrees. So when we look at another example of scrolling through looking at our hot dishwasher in our kitchen, you see no color from TI Basic to grayscale to fire mode. And even when I switch it over to search mode, you don't see any colorization. But watch what happens when I switch it to heat detection mode if I was looking for an overheated area such as an outlet or a problem. As soon as we switch over, watch what happens to my countertop and my dishwasher. That may look bad, but remember, it's only colorizing the hottest 20% of the image. As my friend and mentor, Chief Mitchum, said, when in doubt, check it out. It is a diagnostic tool. It is not a thermometer. Remember that. So when we're looking at items of interest, we have to confirm what the camera is telling us. It's reading apparent temperatures, which is an estimate based on a preset emissivity inside the camera. It's not adjustable like an industrial camera. So your measurements could be several hundred degrees off depending on the background, the surfaces, what's between you and the target, and a lot of other variables. We don't have the time nor the luxury to do the calculations on the fly in a dynamic, fast-paced, changing environment. But these application modes, if used correctly, can be beneficial to you. You can also go into FLIR tools and lock out any of these modes if you don't care for them. A lot of departments have only used TI Basic and search mode and took out the other modes. It's up to you. Just make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Give us a call if you have any questions. Check out our YouTube channel or our Patreon channel for more content. Thank you for your support. God bless.